October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and 10 on Your Side is committed to help break that terrifying cycle.
Every Wednesday, we will be providing resources and information. And tonight, Kiahnna Patterson shares how a local family was impacted when their mother was killed.
Domestic violence killings are gradually increasing here in the Commonwealth, and now Virginia advocates are saying with the coronavirus pandemic, there's an increased need for survivor resources.
I remember her smile.
A mother's love missed.
And I remember her laugh.
But the memories of good times keep her spirit alive.
It's bittersweet, you know. I can laugh because I can look at the picture and I can just hear her voice. I can smell her scent. Like, it's just crazy how none of those things ever leave you.
In 2017, just days before Mother's Day, Rosalie Parker's life was cut short at the hands of her husband of 14 years, Lilton Baden. A devastating discovery for Rosalie's children and grandchildren.
It brought us a little close at the time.
Rosalie was planning to leave her husband, but in a fit of rage, he shot her several times. An act so violent, her daughter, Tiffany Diggs, says she will never understand.
The same hand that holds you should not be the same hand that hurts you.
Baden pleaded guilty to killing his wife and was sentenced to life in prison. Before the shooting, Baden was already a convicted felon, not legally allowed to own a gun.
He'll never get out, but I still don't feel like he received the punishment. That's going to be what God going to have to do with him.
Rosalie was one of 53 women killed as a result of domestic violence in 2017. That's according to the Virginia Department of Health. And one of 447 people who died as a result of domestic violence in Virginia between 2010 and 2017. 80% of those victims were women, and more than half of the time, a gun was used. Jonathan Leglesias, the policy director with the State Domestic Violence Action Alliance, says an abuser having a gun increases the risk for domestic homicides.
We are kind of just now in this place of really trying to figure out what good laws around reducing offender access to firearms looks like.
He also says coronavirus has created more than one type of public health concern. At the start of the pandemic, when schools and jobs suddenly closed, stay-at-home orders and stress resulted in a dramatic increase for domestic abuse services. People turned to the Alliance's 24-hour state hotline looking for help.
And we noticed a really dramatic uptick in the number of calls.
The Alliance saw a 76% increase in their hotline this spring compared to the last. And the statewide fund created by the General Assembly to focus on domestic violence emptied in response to the pandemic. Virginia Senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine worked with lawmakers to include emergency funding for domestic violence services in the CARES Act back in March. Kaine hopes more money is coming, but violence against survivors should be a focus every year.
We ought to have a robust Violence Against Women Act, 24/7, 365, whether there's a global health pandemic or not.
Violence that takes years to heal from.
Most of all, I just miss her. I wish I could talk to her.
And we have listed all of the domestic violence resources here in Hampton Roads over on WAVY.com. But if you need help, please call the help hotline on your screen. Kiahnna Patterson, 10 on Your Side.